Chapter 264. The Ox Demon and Ching Chong silently observed the large crowd of contestants rushing towards the finish line. They were about halfway there. Among the frontrunners were the mutated orangutans from Misty Mountain. Their large, muscular bodies with strong and agile legs provided them with a significant advantage. As expected, these orangutans reached the finish line, though they all collapsed to the ground, panting heavily from exhaustion. The Ox Demon, unsurprised, casually offered them a compliment. Just as expected, you are the first to arrive. 3 elite orangutans had made it, and other contestants would soon follow. The Purple Tiger and its elite tribesmen crossed the finish line next, followed by 2 polar bears. Then a mutated bird flew in from the sky, followed by a white fox, and then a flower butterfly. The butterfly seemed quite relaxed, even cheerfully exclaiming, "I've arrived!" But it was immediately slammed into a rocky mountain. No, it was the massive Foot of Titan. Damn, this guy was as tall as a skyscraper. Even Ching Chong felt intimidated, sweat pouring down like rain, inwardly remarking, "This size is just too immense." Meanwhile, Longer was still struggling to run behind a swarm of ants. Seeing that many mutated beasts had already reached the finish line, he couldn't help but feel anxious. Time was running out. Longer raised 2 fingers and began using his technique. The gravitational pull in this space was so intense that the images were even distorted. Longer's eyes lit up, and then he gently glided forward. At the same time, a burly, masked human and another mutated beast also reached the finish line, letting out a long breath. Ching Chong glanced down at her hourglass, noticing that the competition was nearing its end. At this moment, the 3-eyed tribesman, his bear, and a few other mutated beasts also arrived. It seemed that the competition journey wasn't too difficult for him, was it? Time was ticking down to the final moments, and then, as the last grains of sand fell, the Ox Demon began to raise his head, preparing to announce the end of the competition. Just then, a slender young figure came speeding toward the finish line, with eyes glowing like car headlights. The rush was so intense that he couldn't control his landing, crashing hard into the ground and colliding with a polar bear. His vision blurred and his back throbbed with pain, but Longer still happily raised his hand, saying, "Finally, I made it." Unfortunately, the 2 polar bears behind him weren't too pleased. Unexpectedly, even the slow-moving panda managed to reach the finish line, lying flat on the ground lazily, wishing he could go home. Time officially ran out, and the Ox Demon roared, "Time's up!" All those who crossed the finish line within the allotted time were deemed valid. The losers were informed that they could leave or stay to watch the rest of the competition. The burly guy wasn't too happy seeing Longer succeed, while the Ox Demon began to announce the start of the second round. Longer was dismayed, not expecting the second round to start immediately without any rest. He was already drenched in sweat, utterly exhausted. However, the Ox Demon quickly added, "Don't worry, for we have the essence of life, which can restore your stamina instantly." Ching Chong's task began as he touched the ground, starting to work his magic. The earth was churned up, transformed into fine dust, and then compressed. In just a moment, a large arena with a solid stone floor was completed. The Ox Demon's eyes gleamed like stars as he declared that the slaughter would begin. In the distant universe, amidst the silent space, a creature was speeding rapidly. It was the mutated mantis from Misty Mountain. It had located the being heading towards Earth, a beast resembling a dinosaur. The beast also noticed the approaching threat and let out a fierce roar to assert its dominance. Then it assumed a defensive stance. Perhaps there wouldn't be any formal introductions, right? The mutated mantis was rushing toward it with murderous intent surging to the sky. But what surprised the dinosaur was that, despite sensing the strong aura of the mantis, it was shocked to see how small it actually was. The Purple Scythe also realized that this beast was by no means weak. As it approached, it felt an intense pressure weighing down on it. The Purple Scythe decided to strike first, Green Slash. Unexpectedly, the beast used its enormous mouth to breathe in the mantis with an incredibly powerful force. What was peculiar about this breath was that it began to rob the mantis of its consciousness. The mantis cursed silently. It had never encountered such a force before. Just as the mantis lost its ability to attack for a brief moment, the dinosaur's 3 sharp claws slashed forward, tearing through the very fabric of space. Damn, it really tore through space. However, the mantis quickly unleashed its purple spiritual energy, gliding away to dodge the attack. It swiftly darted behind the dinosaur at lightning speed. As it climbed near the enemy's head, the mantis roared, "Die!" The dinosaur's eyes darted backward, and in an instant, it controlled the sharp spikes on its back to snare the mantis. The mantis hadn't expected the dinosaur to have such excellent combat reflexes. With no other choice, the mantis unleashed its ultimate move, Void Blue Wind Slash, putting all its strength into the attack. Dozens of slashes infused with the mantis's spatial power were unleashed, intertwining and instantly shredding everything in their path. The attack was so painful that even the dinosaur groaned in agony. Announcement from the publisher. Due to storyline balancing reasons and potential content adjustments, starting this week, there will only be 2 chapters released on Saturdays and Sundays. Rest assured, they plan to compensate for the missing chapters later. Goodbye and see you in the next clip.